With your CIGTV News Update, I'm Jay Earhart in for Donna Bush. In our top story today, the Cayman Islands government is seeking to establish a new monitoring framework and process for prisons and other places of incarceration. Under the new system, a board of community volunteers will make monitoring visits to local prisons, police detention centers, and the Immigration Detention Center. The acting governor, the Honorable Franz Manderson, explains the purpose of the visit.
So the Office of the Deputy Governor, with support from the Governor's Office, is looking at how we can improve the monitoring of prisons and places of incarceration. So we have some persons visiting from us from the UK who are expert in this area, who are visiting all places where persons are incarcerated and providing us with a report as to how we can have a very effective prison monitoring system in the Cayman Islands.
The Bill of Rights requires that the Cayman Islands government comply with the national and international standards with regards to the premises designated for incarceration of people. Last week, a two-person team from the UK's Independent Monitoring Board for Prisons visited the Cayman Islands to provide advice to the government on the way forward. The current national chair of Independent Monitoring Boards, Dame Ann Hours, talked about the team's approach to the visit.
We aren't coming to say the way we do it in the UK is the way you should do it on Cayman. The reason that we're here is to find out about the particular circumstances here, the particular challenges and the opportunities, so that you can create something here which is special for you and which works for your society, your prisoners, and those who work within your prisons.
During their visit, their team worked with the project team members from the Office of the Deputy Governor and the Governor's Office. They also met with a wide range of stakeholders. The Governor's Office made available funding for the initial visit last week and the training session for board members being planned for later this year. A spotlight on this visit airs after this. And in our final story, the Celebrate Cayman team held a special observance on Cayman Brac today. Premier, the Honorable Alden McLaughlin, Cabinet Ministers, Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Ezra Miller, and other VIPs attended this morning's Celebrate Cayman by observing the Diamond Jubilee of the Coat of Arms at the District Administration Building. The program featured musical items by students, and Acting Governor, the Honorable Franz Manderson, read the Royal Warrant, which Queen Elizabeth granted in 14th May 1958, a copy of which will remain in Cayman Brac. Premier, the Honorable Alden McLaughlin, read the Coat of Arms history. Celebrate Cayman will continue into 2019 with the Diamond Jubilee of our first Constitution, which was issued on the 4th of July, 1959. Well, as always, if you missed today's news update, you can get all of the details on our Facebook and YouTube pages. And of course, don't forget to tune into Radio Cayman's For the Record and Talk Today shows. I'm Jay Earhart. Thanks for watching.
So the Office of the Deputy Governor, with support from the Governor's Office, is looking at how we can improve the monitoring of prisons and places of incarceration. So we have some persons visiting from us from the UK who are expert in this area, who are visiting all places where persons are incarcerated and providing us with a report as to how we can have a very effective prison monitoring system in the Cayman Islands.
I'm a prison monitor. I've been a monitor for 10 years in the UK, and we're there to ensure fairness and decency for those in custody. It's important that we're there. It's important that we are people from everyday society, so that people can respond to us and we can report to the people that need to know, and in turn create safer prisons and a better society for all.
It's for the benefit of all of society that our prisons are places where people learn to live better lives rather than just going on to do what they did before. And that's why it's important to invest in prisons, and that's why it's important that civil society is present in prisons to reflect back to the rest of society what's actually going on and what can be helpful.
inmates at Fairbanks, at Northward, and the various detention centres. They themselves are members of our society, and we need to make sure that we are providing for them in a way that is humane, in a way that meets the international obligations that we are under as a country, but also in a way that helps them to realize that that should be their last time, hopefully, of spending time incarcerated, and providing them with opportunities to be able to meaningfully and successfully reintegrate into society once they leave the prison system.
We aren't coming to say the way we do it in the UK is the way you should do it on Cayman. The reason that we're here is to find out about the particular circumstances here, the particular challenges and the opportunities, so that you can create something here which is special for you and which works for your society, your prisoners, and those who work within your prisons.
It is very important for the Cayman Islands to have a system where persons in authority, the Director of Prisons, the Minister, the Office of the Deputy Governor, can have an independent assessment as to how our prisons are being operated, how our prisoners are being treated, and importantly, are the programs that we have in place actually working? And that is the outcome that we would like to see as a result of this visit.
Boating, fishing, and water sports in the Cayman Islands are great, but keep a cool head. Here are 7 tips for fun and safe sea outings. Number 1. Use a checklist to plan your outing. Check the weather forecast, make a float plan, and share it with someone who is remaining on land, stating where you're going, with whom, and when you're expected to return. Visit your nearest marine supply store to get your safety gear. This includes signaling mirrors, whistles, and a flare kit. It's also very important to have onboard flotation devices and life vests for each person. There are different types of vests. Some are for water sport activities such as snorkeling, and others are for going on offshore boating or on fishing trips. Number 2. These items can be lifesavers in case of an accident or bad weather. Number 3. Use a motor kill switch, especially if you're boating alone. In case of a leak or breakdown, always stay with the boat until help arrives. If you capsize, an emergency beacon or locator device can send a distress signal to inform the authorities of your location. Larger flares will indicate distress to a boat, airplane, or search and rescue officials. Number 4. In addition to sunscreen, food, and beverages, it would be smart to have a cell phone. Make sure your marine radio works. Cayman's boaters use Channel 16 to communicate. Number 5. Also, don't forget your anchor and sufficient rope. Number 6. Boat operators should be familiar with the local waters and reefs, as well as the capabilities and functions of the vessels they are using. Always obey the rules of the sea and the marine environment, and have courtesy for others. Number 7. Alcohol and salt water do not mix, especially if you're the captain. Some useful contact numbers are 911. The RCIPS Marine Base is 649-7710, and the Port Authority is 949-2055. Smooth sailing, all!
Did you know that planning permission is required for an addition, alteration, or any material change to your house? The 10% rule no longer exists. Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required?